Thank you, Chad. I'm looking forward to the conversation today. I've learned a lot from the SDP community over the past number of years, and glad to have the opportunity to share a few lessons learned from some of my experimentation over the past couple of years, and look forward to having some time at the end to get some input from you. We're hoping to move through the presentation with enough time to have some active participation from those of you attending today. So we'll jump to a poll right away. So I'll, Ava, get you to kind of jump in the poll just to give a bit of context for around level experience with framing. I'm guessing that many of you have quite a bit of experience with this, but others perhaps not. So we'll only keep it open for about 30 seconds or so. So do get those answers in soon. Something where framing is often common sense, not commonly applied, I think is one of the best descriptions I've heard. But I've got a bit of context on the front end before we dive into the kind of specific tactics. So why don't we go ahead and close the poll now, Ava, and show the results. I think I can do that. So it looks like most people have got at least some experience with framing, a few who are new. So that's helpful context. So thanks for folks who participated in that. So just to speak briefly to the importance of framing, reminds me of a conversation I had with a grad advisor during my master's degree that has stuck with me. And he said that optimization is like finding the best route to the top of the mountain. And this is only really helpful if you're on the right mountain. So if the mountain I'm trying to get to is the one in the far distance there with a question mark above it, this elaborately planned route to the top is not actually all that helpful. And so framing is really about getting you on the right mountain with a team that can help you reach the summit. So there's both the problem definition aspects of it as well as the engagement part of it that gets people bought into a team atmosphere to accomplish that. This is a slide we use from an internal intro to framing presentation that we use. Lots of other good examples. If you wanted to dive deeper, books on decision quality, decision analysis for the professional. There's some good books out there that talk more about this. Some of the things I'll highlight here is that the scalability is something that's been a big part of how we sold this internally, is that because we have relatively little adoption of the ADQ in our organization, we can sometimes get some apprehension from senior decision makers who say, is this going to be bureaucratic or slow decisions down? We emphasize that this is a set of skill set and mindset that can be anything from 2 hours to 2 days, depending on the complexity and number of stakeholders. Another thing I'll highlight is that space for brainstorming creative alternatives. I hear time and time again from senior decision makers that we don't get the problem definition right too often. And so having a space where not only are we getting the problem definition right, but then we don't come with the first solution that comes to mind is so critical for getting a solution that we can implement. Because sustainability is a big part of our culture, this integrative aspect of really getting the different disciplines that have maybe not traditionally been involved early. So sustainability groups, community affairs, environmental disciplines, they've typically come in after the kind of more technical engineering analysis has happened, and the drivers for some of our projects tend to have shifted more to those sustainability or HSEC domains as kind of the critical risk. So definitely getting those folks involved earlier really helps. And that last bullet, some of you, of course, will be familiar that we have lots of different terminology in our field, and it's been a bit of a challenge because different parts of our organization have been exposed to this with different nomenclature. So I'm constantly juggling to make sure people understand what we're talking about.